Hello! So a couple of days ago, Taylor Swift took her entire back catalogue off Spotify. Now this was a highly controversial move, and I for one applauded her for her actions. Now many people have been arguing against her actions, and to be fair, lots of us have been coming up with some relatively good arguments. But the point I've come to realise is that our judgments are biased and based on ill-informed information that just makes us all sound pretty naive. So rather than trying to argue my case by regurgitating information that I've probably read somewhere, I've decided to spend a bit of my time learning exactly what a stream for the Enid is worth. However, I will not be disclosing the amount we actually make from streaming because that is not the point of this exercise. I will be telling you how much a stream is worth in different scenarios. So let's look at the averages first. I've discovered from our statements that there are two main categories to consider, the first being subscription streams and the second being advert-funded streams, i.e. free music. Let's look at the subscription stream average first. This is what the average consumer with a subscription to a streaming service can make for the artist per stream. Subscription streams make up nearly half of all Enid streams, which I think is pretty good. Now, by dividing the total revenue that we get from subscription streams by the actual number of subscription streams, I was able to estimate that we receive approximately 0.56 pence per stream. Now, if you were to say value a track at 99p, you would have to play that track 178 times to get a return on that track's value. This isn't amazing, but I can put my hand up and say that there are some tracks on my iPod that I must have listened to at least 178 times because I love them so much. So in some ways, this subscription streaming average seems fair to me, because if you love a song enough to play it 178 times, then by streaming it, you are actually returning the value that you would be downloading it for anyway. Now let's look at the average value of advert-funded streams. This kind of service allows you to listen completely for free, while the costs are paid for by companies placing adverts. You may have noticed after every 3 songs, McDonald's trying to sell you the latest McSplatburger, for example. Again, by dividing the total advert-funded streams by the number of advert-funded streams we received, I was able to calculate how much that stream is worth. Again, by dividing the total advert-funded stream revenue by the total number of advert-funded streams, I was able to calculate a much lower percentage for these kind of streams, which average at 0.09 pence each. That's less than a tenth of a penny each. So if the track is really worth 99 pence, then you would have to listen to it 1,106 times to actually support the artist as if you were buying it. This is a pretty unbelievable number, and I don't think I've ever listened to a song that many times. So I was just about to conclude the matter feeling that I had some really hard evidence which told me that people that subscribe to services are not hurting the artists at all, and the only real problem now is people that stream music for free. But then I noticed something really strange. The vast majority of our streams do come from Spotify, and that includes 91% of our subscriber streams, plus 83% of our advert-funded streams. But for some reason, Spotify only accounts for 44% of our stream revenue. This obviously doesn't add up at all, and if things were fair, you would expect the stream percentage and the revenue percentage to be relative to each other. So this has led me to investigate further, and what I found out has really shocked me. This time, to find the Spotify subscription stream value, I divided the Spotify subscription stream revenue by the total number of plays via Spotify subscribers. The value of each stream more than halved to only 0.27 pence per stream. This more than doubles the number of plays needed to recoup a 99 pence value, rising to a massive 366 plays. This is nowhere near as justifiable as the 178 plays previously thought. Even more shocking was Spotify's advert-funded stream value. This time, the number of streams needed to recoup a 99p value nearly doubled, rising from an average of 1,106 plays to an astonishing 2,060, with a stream value of just 0.05 pence. But obviously, for these numbers to be so low against the average, the other services must be performing above average, right? Despite Spotify having the clear monopoly, I decided to compare it to other similar services. Deezer is the second biggest music streaming company that the Enid use, so I decided to check them out first. Now, although Deezer only accounts for 4% of the Enid's total stream revenue, this is actually reflected in a much more balanced way with the percentage share of their total streams. And incredibly, Deezer puts Spotify to enormous shame. The value of a subscriber's stream on Deezer is 0.56 pence, which is exactly the amount that we saw in the subscribers stream average earlier on. Deezer's advert funded stream average is also bang on the 0.09 pence average. That's nearly double the value of a free stream on Spotify. And then, believe it or not, 52% of all the Enid stream revenue comes from other services, which make up just 5% of subscriber streams and only 2% of advert-funded streams. It was really hard for me to fathom how two nearly identical services were able to pay their artists so differently, considering they both charge exactly the same amount for a subscription of £9.99 a month. Now, Spotify insist that 70% of their revenue goes straight back to the artists, which sounds great. So how come Deezer can pay around double that? It would be impossible for Deezer to double 70%, because double 70% is 140%, and 140% doesn't exist. So I've done some more equations. So if Spotify is taking 30% of the total revenue for itself, this should mean that the total value of one stream from a subscriber should be 0.39 pence per play. At £9.99 per month, the average subscriber must be streaming 2,585 songs per month. That's 83 plays per day. If each song is a minimum of 3 minutes long, then the average subscriber must be streaming a minimum of 4 hours and 9 minutes worth of music a day. Now, I don't know what percentage of revenue Deezer take, but let's assume they need 30% as well. This brings their total value per subscriber stream up to 0.79 pence per play. Also charging £9.99 a month, Deezer subscribers must be averaging 1,260 streams per month. That's a more modest 41 streams per day, or 2 hours and 3 minutes of music. I find it quite hard to believe that a Spotify consumer would really consume twice as much music as a Deezer subscriber. However, it is possible. It is also possible that Deezer have developed a business model which is much fairer to the artists. But following all these little calculations, I still believe that it's the perceived value of music which needs protecting. By all means, streaming is the future, and subscribing to a service like Spotify or Deezer is the most practical solution for consumers, and I believe it can work. In my opinion, there is not enough clear disparity between a free service and a paid service. This is the first problem, and if people expect to be able to access music wherever they want and whenever they want, this needs to be regulated. For example, just as people have to pay a TV license if they have a TV in their house, they should also expect to have to pay a subscription to a streaming service if they want to stream music. Also, we should ask ourselves, is £9.99 really enough to meet the value of the music that we're streaming? At the moment, I would argue that it is not. However, in the future, if everybody paid a subscription, £9.99 would probably be too much. Now, although it's not possible for me to equate exactly how much these free services help to promote bands, I do know that there are a few people out there who would not have found the Enid without them. I think the important thing is to create an awareness amongst our audiences as to how much we depend on their support financially. So if the free listens do lead to a CD purchase or an iTunes download, then you really are helping us to do what we do. At the moment, without real record sales, bands will never be able to do the things that they want to do because they will not have the financial backing they need. The Enid put absolutely every penny you spend on us back into our art, and we live on a diet of generosity and ambition. We will forever be embracing changes in the way that we enjoy music, but we must stop it from being devalued any further before we kill it completely. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. Please take a moment to click subscribe. Thank you.